several times and picked up more and more passengers. Every time she went down, she'd say a little prayer. But first, we'll go back to the train. Oh, the train is waiting at the station. Conductor's at the door. The compass is a constellation with the stars in the north.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Duncan Showroom, and for the love of words, episode number 1721. We don't know that. I'm thinking, an average of 10 a year. That's got to be. Oh, darn it. Here's a folk player who was thinking it was Musical Tuesday. Sorry, you could come and do your lyrics, so it's you. Oh, we got to let Jared do something. He came all this way, and he's a dad. A new dad. Welcome in John's stead. He is out fixing a flat tire for Georgia. Yay, John. Whew. I thought she was a feminist. What's going on? That's a joke, sorry. You would go any number of miles to help Georgia. As well you should. This is Once Upon a Railroad. There's a train standing in the station. The conductor, he's calling all aboard. There's only one thing wrong. Once this train is gone, it won't be back no more. And it's pulling from the station, heading down the track. The whistle on the train cries, I ain't coming back. Once I was a railroad, once I was a train, once I was this country's national dream. From the east to the west, one thin line, a wail in the night crying one more time. Now hurry to your windows, have you heard the news? This train I ride's got the steel rail blues. There's a woman sitting in a dome car, some kids are waving from a hill. Now it's first call to the diner with a silver tray on line. Past Superior Shores, the diesel strained and roared, a silver band of light. From east to west, one thin strand to join us together in this impossible land. Oh, we are nothing without our dreams. In the heart of it all, there's a railroad train. Now it's 3 days in a club car. What's this village called a train? Past one-horse prairie towns, once this train is gone, who's going to call their names? From the east to the west, one thin line, a wail in the night crying one more time. Now hurry to your windows, have you heard the news? This train I ride's got the steel rail blues. It's cut through the Rockies, long curves hugging to the tracks. How did they do what we're passing through? But you know it won't be coming back. There's a train standing in the station. The conductor, he's calling all aboard. There's only one thing wrong. This train's long since gone, and it won't be back no more. We've certainly experienced train atrophy on the island. How many remember their last ride on the train? Oh, not many hands. Oh. You Albertans, you maybe didn't get to the train. Damn it. Sorry. The Alberta Northern. A squat grey building of only 34 stories. Over the main entrance the words Central London Hatchery and Conditioning Centre, and in a shield the World States motto, Community, Identity, Stability. The enormous room on the ground floor faced towards the north, cold for all the summer beyond the panes. For all the tropical heat of the room itself, a harsh thin light glared through the windows, hungrily seeking some draped lay figure, some pallid shape of academic goose flesh, but finding only the glass and nickel and bleakly shining porcelain of a laboratory. Wintriness responded to wintriness. The overalls of the workers were white, their hands gloved with a pale, coarse-colored rubber. Corpse. The light was frozen, dead, a ghost. Only from the yellow barrels of the microscopes did it borrow a certain rich and living substance, lying along the polished tubes like butter, streak after luscious streak in long recession down the work tables. What could possibly go wrong in a novel that starts out like that? Anybody know? What is it? What is it? Come on, you geniuses. Brave New World. Oh, okay. Class? Brave New World. Oh, Tim, I was expecting you to get it. That's right. Tim was out in the yard flashing his muscles at the ladies or something. Debbie, come on up. Have cookies. Well, we are in our 17th and 2/3 years. I can say that now because John's not here to contest it. I'm sure it's true. 2008. You do the math. Byron, quick. Oh, there you go. I can count those. Hello, dear.
Hello.
How are you?
You do the math. I don't want to
You
do
do
the math.
That's. I'm used to hearing that. Oh, I'm glad my granddaughter got hecked the other day because she got the right answer, but she didn't show the work. How many of you math geniuses used to do that? Just like,
Wow.
and she said to the teacher, well, I did it in my head. And she's probably forgotten how to write down the work. She's just doing it her own way.
Right.
And she lost a mark for it.
Aw, man.
Balls. That's what I said. to
Yeah,
her.
balls.
Balls.
Did you tell her that?
No.
Yeah, probably not, huh?
I try not to get in trouble with my daughter. Say the right thing.
So we have wonderful news. Our son and his wife had a baby boy yesterday. Yeah, a big baby boy, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. Yeah, after 11 hours of labor, they did a C-section. So it got me thinking today about family and parenting, and I know they'll have their own adventure and they'll navigate their own way. But this is something I wrote quite a while ago. A high tensile flexible line. Heart mender, time spender, vomit catcher, wound watcher. Filler in of empty spaces, standing by, present and accounted for. Mother by choice, theirs, not mine. I knew from the first time I met my golden-haired sons of choice, it was a package deal. Love the dad, love the sons, and I loved the dad so that my eyes wanted no other face, so that my ears wanted no other voice, and my heart grew bigger than my brain, and we made it one big messy package. That has always been our deal. His mess and my mess together. I already had a son by birth. I'd started whispering secrets to him while he was still in my womb, spreading my hands over my belly, rubbing him like a magic lamp, making wishes for both of us. I'd fed him Wynton Marsalis and Annie Lennox, and I'd studied every book I could find for the biggest exam of my life. I have still not passed the test. Milk maker, diaper changer, storyteller, punching bag, taker of infant, whistleblower, escape artist, person too broken to hold anything together, not even herself, standing by, present and accounted for, mother by birth, his, not mine. I knew the day he'd be born because he'd stopped doing bum wags across my swollen belly. We'd practiced so well the breathing, the pacing, the surfing over waves of pain. I did it without medication. Natural, they called it. He had a full head of dark hair and a face exactly like his father's when they lay his uncleaned body on my belly and our eyes joined, an unbreakable cord cast between us. Its hook cut into my heart, double barbed. It hurts too much if he ever pulls away. I must draw closer. The high tensile flexible line between my heart and my sons of choice was not put in place by a singular experience. The second a sperm penetrates an egg, or the lingering minutes of hormone-fueled animal love in the afterglow of birth. My labor with them lasted years. I waited, I watched, I offered my time, my concern, my listening, my presence. One son of my choice had trouble with his lungs. They collapsed a couple times, spontaneously. his dad and I watching as he clutched his chest, knew something horrific was wrong, called the ambulance. After the second episode, they decided to give him an operation to prevent it happening again. Time waiter, racing partner, piñata maker, pie baker, receiver of bagpipe tribute on front steps, weeper of joy, parent, full stop, our choice, together. The world would have us believe matters of the heart are guided by strict quotas, one true love per person, one mother, one father. If 3 adults show up for a parent-teacher interview, one of them will not have a chair. If 3 adults show up for their child's operation, one of them will have to wait outside. They'd started the long walk down the gleaming corridor, a full quota without me. I wasn't allowed standing watch, stepmom, 1 step aside. I was told to keep my distance. In all that muddle, I almost missed what mattered. They were about to turn the corner when my voice reached where my body was not allowed. "Chris," I yelled, "I love you." Hours later, in the hospital room, after successful operation, I was at the farthest edge of his bed. Rousing from the anesthetic, he was surrounded by souls who cherish him as he is. His eyes cleared slowly. I was surprised when they stopped first at mine. An unbreakable cord between us, the hook cutting into my heart, double barbed. It hurts too much if he ever pulls away. I draw closer. "I love you," he said. Not the fruit of my womb, not animal instinct, higher order thinking, the accumulation of moments together. "I love you too," I answered. And he turned then to his father and his mother and his 3 brothers, one from a different father, same mother. The random pattern, more than standard issue, our mess. We call it family.
Byron, get over here. Have you done your chores? Sometimes I like to imagine I'm Byron's wife. Come home, honey. Your dinner's getting cold. How many years of retirement is it now, Byron? 2, 1, 2, 3. It's been a few.
I don't know, about 5, I think.
What? Time goes so fast, it's crazy. You're still doing little things here and there. And your honey-do list, that one.
Yes, I do a little maintenance at a residence.
Nice, not the one you were at.
Residential apartment building.
Oh, good. Keep you sharp, eh?
Oh, yeah. You know what it's like.
Welcome, it's Byron.
Thank you. Whew. Well, this is going to be a little lighter. I've decided just to read some limericks. So they'll range from the sublime to the ridiculous, I expect. We'll see. Okay. As a kid, I was fed sandwich spread. My mum smeared it for lunch on white bread. Relish green with a glaze in off-white mayonnaise. looked and tasted like vomit instead. Okay. And I want to get this one done. This is, I read a poem, had a Dutch link, Dutch connection last time. So I do have one Dutch flavored limerick here. It's called Kiss My Tulips. A runny-nosed harlot from Holland was bothered in springtime by pollen. The result of each sneeze was a vaginal squeeze, so no one brought tissues when calling. There we go. And though I'm really somewhat of a prude, I've composed a few limericks lewd, and when put to the test, I am told they sound best when I read them on stage in the nude. Okay. So here's one for all those people that head south to Mexico. On a deck high up Tower Laguna stands a big old fat hairy kahuna. Very few people know that the world down below is his 24-hour spituna. Okay, a little departure here, a technical departure. The following two limericks contain 26 words apiece, wherein each word begins with a different letter of the alphabet, with the exception of the letter X, where a word beginning EX is substituted. Here's the first one. Ever since God created preteens, quirky youth have rammed butts into jeans. Largely used, many new, expect keisters of you, zealous flaunters of denim, these weens. And the second limerick, containing 26 words, etc., is, this old vibrator's firm, not so bendable, plus, unlike jointed kinds, quite extendable. It's had grueling abuse, welcomed zealous reuse. You cannot employ lads more dependable. Okay. Alrighty. How long does it take? Oh, they go pretty quickly, really, when you get the setup or whatever. Yeah, or a prompt often works. Yeah, so like this, the prompt here was the first line. Somebody out tending her brood, a woman out tending her brood. I think that was the prompt line. So mine is, a woman out tending her brood followed hens that had eggs to extrude. When a randy old rooster ran up and then goosed her, she cried, ew, what a foul interlude. Yeah. And anybody here in construction? The trades? Okay. Straight into the shop the boy gazed, through 2 panes with an airspace, amazed. He'd eat 6, he soon reckons, as white topping beckons, for double, not single, they're glazed. Replacing windows? Okay. My face is a fright, it's alarming. I'm tongue-tied on dates and not charming. But with weights I do curls. When I'm shirtless, the girls find my big bulging biceps disarming. And, oh, here we go. I think I might have done this one recently. At Gethsemane's tombs I kept seeing that raised from the dead Galilean. I knew he was God and not some kind of fraud, 'cause he looked like a white European. Ooh. Okay, the Odilf Limerick Dictionary has a lot of very obscure words. So this is these few are some where there's some obscure words here. Acantha. Acanthoceta, acrodrome, atom optics, arthroscopic, and alloxanate, and alloxanic acid. Okay, here we go. In New Zealand, I wish you had seen us. A rifleman bird flew between us, so tiny and cute in its green and bronze suit. Acanthocetus, the name of its genus. The idea is to evoke the meaning of the word. The line features we see on this leaf are its acrodome veins. To be brief, top to bottom they trip from the stalk to the tip, paralleling the edges is chief. Atom optics, the latest in light, might surpass even lasers in might. From cold particle forces, new imaging sources, this technology's clean out of sight. Arthroscopic procedures my need, let articular probing proceed. I was throwing the discus and tore my meniscus. Incision, precision, make speed. Alloxanic acid while dating met a base and combined in a mating. Through nobody's fault, they gave birth to a salt, an alloxanate well worth the waiting. Funny. Okay. Oh, so here's one. Critical organ. It's a medical definition used when you're treating cancer with radiation. So it goes critical organ. That part of the body that is most susceptible to radiation damage under the specific conditions under consideration. I decided this summer for fun that I'd nap in the nude in the sun. I awoke on the sand with my abs nicely tanned and my critical organ well done. Yeah, there we go. And that's it. Thank you. Okay.
The fire is stoked. The leaves are burning.
So Phil, why have you stopped smoking?
I didn't stop smoking. I'm trying to stop drinking for a few days.
Oh, so
Those
you stopped
go hand in
smoking
hand.
so you don't drink.
However, if we do go to the bar later, I'm not trying to stop drinking completely. I'm trying to stop drinking at home for a while.
Oh,
So it's okay if I have a beer at the bar because I don't have any at home. That'd be the one. It's a condition. It's a weird kind of stopping.
So I was trying to decide what I was going to read tonight, and I chose a book by a guy named Victor Niederhofer. Niederhofer was the U.S. squash champion from 1969 to, I think, 1981. I think he held the champion. He was considered the U.S. champion for all those years. After that, Niederhofer worked for George Soros. He was one of his principal traders. I think, what else do I know about Niederhofer? He was at one point in time considered the top-ranked hedge fund manager in the world. And this is the opening chapter. This is called The Old Trader and the Yen. And I'm going to read a section from the start of this chapter, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to jump ahead. So there'll be a little bit of interruption, but And this follows the, if you've read The Old Man and the Sea, then you'll follow along here. I am an old trader, and I trade the yen in the cash market. I once had the best record among all the traders. I was rated number 1 in my field, and my picture was in all the newspapers. Customers crowded my doors. The attractive currency brokers talked sexy to me, told me where their customers' stops were, and where the central banks were buying and selling. The great Soros more than once called to have me trade for his own account. But I had got in over my head. I bought the dollar when the dollar yen was 93. It went to 88 in just a few hours. I was eaten alive. The banks will not give me credit anymore, and many of my customers have left. I still have some customers, people who are not happy with feeding all their money to the stock market. They are afraid that it will crash as it did in 1929 and 1987. They took me to a land, they looked to me to land a big return, but without risk or drawdown. I can do it, but they don't want me to gamble, and I cannot do it without gambling. The risk creates opportunity. Still, I am humble because I have lost many times. Lopez, an 18-year-old student from Mexico, worked at my side for free just so he could learn from me. He ran computer programs from me, got me tea, and woke me when I was tired. Lopez has now left to trade at a more successful firm in the daytime, but he comes to visit me after hours. "Victor," he says to me, "I could help you tonight. We've made some money together." "No," I say, "you're with a better firm. Stay with them." But I remember how the dollar went down for 10 days in a row, and you kept buying it, and then it went back up, and we made back all we lost and more. Yes, but now the dollar is going up, and we're selling it. The Bank of Japan and the U.S. Treasury want it up. Everybody in the world wants it up, and I am fighting it. I am already short 300 million, and the forces are against me. Can I get you some tea? The dollar's been up many days in a row. Let me run some programs. Yes, of course, between traders, I say. Victor, the patterns are bearish. Can I sell alongside? No, you are too young to risk everything. You have to learn to sit it out when the tide is too strong. At 7 p.m. in New York, it is morning in Asia. The sun is shining then. Men in white shirts are preparing for battle. The banks will wait for their customers to sell the dollar to hedge their export earnings, and then they will buy it. They have a great advantage over me, for I have been sitting in front of my monitor, staring at the screen, eyes burning for 2 nights and a day, and now part of another night. They drink sake each night with their friends from school and the ministries, and they learn what is going to be announced and where they will be buying and selling. When the poor folks, the outsiders, demanded an investigation because a number was leaked, the central bank says no investigation is necessary because leaks are impossible. Victor, do you have any stops? My broker asks. If I tell him, then immediately the price will go to that level and I will be dead. I don't believe in stops, I say strongly. Yen, I will stay with you until I am dead, I say softly. Sorry. The yen will stay with me too, but I am as patient as the yen. I played squash every day for 10 years in a row before winning the big one. I have been watching the screen for 52 hours without sleep, and I am not going to give up. The yen is my friend, and there is a full moon out. The trends often change when the moon is full. The moon affects the markets just as it affects women, crops, crime, and the tides. I am afraid I have as much chance of killing the dollar as of killing the moon. Soon I will not fail for lack of effort, of war preparation. I'm hungry. I have not eaten since lunch, and the gnats are starting to come in through the window screen and are biting me all over. Perhaps I should stare at the computer screen harder. Will that make it turn in my favor? It's all I have left. Just then the dollar jumps down. Hail to the chief, the chairman of the Eminent Persons Council, generally thought to be a mouthpiece for the administration, is speaking in Japan. He calls for an equilibrium dollar of 80. The dollar drops to 94, 93, 92. Yes, dollar holders are desperate to get out. This is what I was born to do, to take their dollars when they are afraid to hold them, to give them the dollars back when they want to sell me their goods. I end up with all their dollars and all their goods. I must buy 400 million without anyone's knowing, or else I will turn the market. But I am all alone, and brokers will rush ahead to buy as soon as they know what I am doing. I pick up 2 phones and press the speaker on another. What's your dollar and offer for 12.5 yards of yen? I say. I wait a second, then I say, I buy dollars, and with 3 words, I just bought 375 million against the yen. I am whole again. I call Susan. My mouth is dry and my ulcers are violently painful. I'll be coming to Maine tomorrow, I say. Are you alive? She asks. We both killed each other, I say. I go hit some balls on my racquetball court before finishing my job and writing up all the tickets. But my job is not over yet. I still have 2.5 yards. By the time I get back, the sharks have hit me. The trade surplus is announced. The dollar moves to 93. I lost $250,000 on just those 2.5 yards, but I just made 3 million. Not to worry, I throw on 4 more yards just for the fun of it. But then the sharks begin to attack with horrible fury, as if they were maddened by my escape. The Bank of Japan buys dollars. The rumors were true after all. The price rushes to 94 with resolution and malignancy. It was too good to last. Why did I do something for fun? I never have fun trading. It is too serious. I just dropped $1 million. My nerve is going now. I close out all of my positions. I shouldn't have sold so many dollars, I say, both for your sake and mine. Like the fisherman in The Old Man and the Sea, I think. Fish that you were, I am sorry that I went too far out. I ruined us both. But we have killed many sharks, you and I, and ruined many others. How many did you ever kill, old fish? I fought the dollar in a battle to the death. Shortly after I covered the Bank of England, the Bundesbank, and the Federal Reserve, acting for the Treasury, all intervened to buy the dollar. By the next morning, the dollar rose to 98. Had I not bought it back, I would have lost 40 million, about 100% of my capital. I am sore from my wounds. I feel like the sole survivor from a plane crash. I am tired. Before I leave, I check my faxes. A memo from my lawyer informs me that a certain agency wishes to review my filings for the past 10 years. 2 boxcars of documents. The sharks are always circling, always tearing at my flesh. Hades, go away, you can't have it. It's mine. I've paid my dues. I cannot keep the sharks from hitting me. They are very powerful and do what they please. But I will continue to fight them while I have the strength. I have my resolution, and there are many things I can do. As I leave my office, my partners are coming to pick up the pieces of the trades and even out the weights. What a trade it was, I hear them saying as I drive away. The interesting thing about Niederhofer is not that he had a great fortune, but that he lost almost all of it. That's why the book is called The Education of a Speculator. He wrote a subsequent book in which he, one of the chapters was highly critical of a journalist who's now dead, a guy named Alan Abelson, and he wrote a column in Barron's magazine. And Niederhofer was hugely critical of Abelson. And I read that chapter, and I wrote a letter to Niederhofer saying, you've got Abelson wrong. The reason people read Abelson is not because his financial advice is great, but his wordplay is out of this world. And you have to respect that the man's entertainment value was worth much more than anything. Niederhofer wrote me back and said that if ever I was in New York, I should drop by and we should go out for lunch. So that's it. Thank you.
This is Rob. Have you met Rob before? You guys did last week, sort of.
Yeah, last month, I think.
Rob and I have done several projects together with Shawnigan Players, and you've done several with Mercury Players.
That's right. That's right.
You're not and currently besides the Shakespeare, are you?
No, right now just Shakespeare.
Right.
So, by way of introducing what I want to do this evening, about 23, 24 years ago, I was studying to become an English teacher, and I came across the work of David Crystal, who wrote a seminal book called World Englishes. And then I was pleased to meet him when I was at my first English teaching conference in Oman in the Middle East. And so he's sort of a name for the British Council and so on. He was the keynote speaker at many conventions, I think. And but I wasn't a great English teacher. I feel I was playing a role. I was acting. So I left that some time ago. And when I got involved with Shawnigan Players a couple of years ago, just for fun, one of the guys, Rain, invited a bunch of us to get together and explore something called original pronunciation. And what it was, I was like kind of really surprised to meet David Crystal again. He because of his interest in world Englishes and like English spoken around the world and what makes it unique. And what it has in common and the power behind it and so on like that. He had teamed up with his son, who was a Shakespearean actor, and they worked on what they believe comes pretty close to what English must have sounded like on the stage in Shakespeare's time. And so this was a really stunning revelation to me because, we're used to hearing English spoken either with the old received pronunciation in England or just with our local argot, with speaking it Canadian. And if you come to any of our performances, you'll find it's quite Canadian. we don't do much with it. But this gave a lot of insight as far as the musicality of the language, and I think some of this is in the future. I hope to hear more and more Shakespeare done this way. But I figure you guys tonight, having a keener ear for the music of
test
language,
Yeah.
that you might bear with me as I attempt to read this part from the that opens our play that we'll be performing this summer, Comedy of Errors by William Shakespeare.
I'll be performing the Duke in Canadian.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry. May not compliment it as well, Rob.
Well, proceed, Duke of Ephesus, to procure me fall, and by the dome of death end woes and all.
Merchant of Syracuse, plead no more. I'm not partial to infringe our laws. If any Syracusian born come here to the bay of Ephesus, he dies. Unless 1,000 marks be levied, to pay the penalty and to ransom him. Thy possessions, valued at the highest rate, cannot amount unto 100 marks. Therefore, by law thou art condemned to die.
Yet this me comfort, when your words are done, me woes end likewise with the evening sun.
Well, Syracusian, say in brief the cause why thou departst from thy native home, and for what cause thou camest here to Ephesus.
A heavier task could not have been imposed than I to speak me griefs unspeakable. In Syracuse was I born, and wed unto a woman. With her I lived in joy, o'er wealth increased by prosperous voyages I often made. Upon a time, the great care of goods drew me from kind embracements of me spouse, and I made provision for her following me, and she soon and safe arrived where I was. There had she not been long, but she became a joyful mother of 2 goodly sons, and, which was strange, the one so like the other, as could not be distinguished but by names. That very hour, and in the self-same inn, a poor woman was delivered of just such a burden. Male twins, both alike. Those, for their parents were exceeding poor, I bought and brought up as servants to me sons. Me wife made daily urgings for our home return. Unwilling I agreed. Alas, too soon we came aboard. A league had we sailed before the always wind-obeying deep conveyed unto our fearful minds a dreadful warrant of immediate death, which though myself would gladly have embraced, yet the unstinting weepings of me wife and piteous wailings of the pretty babes forced me to seek remedy for them and me. The sailors left the ship, then sinking ripe, to us. Me wife, more careful for the latter-born babe, had fastened him unto a small spare mast. To him, one of the other twins was bound, whilst I had been like aidful of the 2 other infants. The children thus disposed, me wife and I fastened ourselves at either end the mast, and floating were carried towards Corinth, as we thought. At length the sun gazed upon the earth, And by the benefit of his wished light, the seas waxed calm, and we discovered 2 ships from far, making swiftly to us. Of Corinth that, of Epidaurus this. But ere they came, oh, let me say no more.
Nay, forward, old man, do not break off so, for I may pity, though not pardon thee.
Ere the ships could mate, we were encountered by a mighty rock, and our helpful ship was splitted in the midst. Me wife with 2 babes was carried with more speed before the wind, and in me sight they 3 were taken up by fishermen of Corinth. At length the other ship had seized on us, and gave helpful welcome to their shipwrecked guests, and would have pursued the fishermen, had not their ship been very slow of sail. And therefore, with way 3, homeward to Epidaurus did they bend their course. Thus have you heard me severed from me bliss, that by misfortunes was me life prolonged to tell sad stories of me own mishaps.
And for the sake of them thou sorrowest for, do me the favor to relate it full, what hath befallen of them and thee till now.
My boy, at 18 years, became inquisitive after his brother, and begged me that his young servant, also bereft of his brother, might bear him company in the quest of them. Alas, I consented. 5 summers have I spent searching for me son in farthest Greece, roaming clean through the bounds of Asia, and coasting homeward, came here to Ephesus. But ere must end the story of my life.
Now, trust me, were it not against our laws, against my crown, my oath, my dignity, my soul would plead as advocate for thee. But though thou art adjudged to the death, yet I will favor thee in what I can. Therefore, merchant, I'll allow thee this day to seek thy life by beneficial help. Beg thou or borrow to make up the ransom, and live. If no, then thou art doomed to die. Jailer, take him to thy custody.
Hopeless and helpless doth Aegean wend, but to procrastinate is lifeless end.
Well done. Nice. I don't know why the director doesn't like that. I like it. Thank you, Rob. Now you're into the plot, aren't you? I love it, the way it gives the whole complicated story. And the way it plays out is very interesting. Jared, have you been thinking over it? How do you feel? You're keen? All right. Well, often we get musicians wander in not knowing that it's the spoken word evening, because, of course, every other Tuesday belongs to Musical Open Stage. Just come on up. I'm just rambling till you get here. And so sometimes I try to convince said musicians that they might do something vocally with their lyrics, or a story song, or I don't mind if you sing. Or how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. Have a bit of turmoil in my life, and trying to get some stage time. And
Gotcha.
obviously, it's a bit disarming to not have my instrument up here, but
It would be. Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
but I'm glad to do it. You know.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I have some song lyrics here, and I don't think I'm gonna sing them. I'm just gonna.
Whatever you like.
I'll find my rhythm with it. But
'Kay. Jared, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
See you, man.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, guys. Yeah, this is a song I wrote 8 or 10 years ago. And the essence of it is, I used to live in Chemainus, and there's so many fruit trees that people never harvested their fruit and it would fall on the ground, and often I'd be mowing some lawns or something, or just walking through the neighborhood smelling the cider smell. And the song is about food wastage, but also what it says about our society, that we kind of let that happen, I guess. Told a lie 1,000 times, forgive me. Belated apologize, done swiftly. At the core, what is ignored, where fallen apple seeds are stored. Inside, the rotting cider smell. Therein lies stories one could tell. Of all the fruit this year that fell, too far from hungry mouths well. Provided with abundance, but it's the self that we sell. Orchards cry 1,000 pies, so lonely. You can see the tears in her eyes, look closely. The skies open up to the light above. We were in awe, we were in love. And in a flash appeared white doves, perching upon the fruit trees. From seeds to worms in apples mush, the hungry mouths here to feed. Of all the fruit this year that fell, too far from hungry mouths well. From seeds to worms in apples mush, ringing the early bird's bell. Yeah. And I guess that's all. Well, I guess my other material is less reality-based. Mm. Yeah, I guess there's been a lot of turmoil this month for me, just work-wise and relationship-wise, and I am writing again, which feels really good. I guess I could recite part of this song that I'm working on. Because yeah, sometimes you have a death of something in your life, whether it's like a metaphorical death or not. For some reason, this song came to me as like talking to a coroner. It's going to be really brief. But, coroner, help me find a song along the way. I forgot the temperature of the road I have to take. Lost in time. Lost in time. A memory awake. Loss of mind, back of my mind, and stay there for some days. Yeah, that's it.
Come on up. Don't pay any attention to the whatever that Errol Nimbley fellow said about Dutch architecture. And what was it? The Dutch. That was very funny, actually. I like that one. Do the Dutch have a ribald sense of humor? Would you say?
Well, see, this gentleman on Saturday said to me, well, I am actually not Dutch. I said, oh, you're not? He said, I'm from Friesland.
Friesland.
I said, I'm from Friesland too. So I guess I'm not really Dutch, but I am.
Was it a separate state? at
No,
one point?
it's a tiny little province
Province.
with 1 million people with their own language.
Right. Whoa.
And they always want to separate.
Still.
Still.
It's like our Quebec.
I know.
The new Alberta. Shh. And do you speak that other language as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
what's
do
it?
speak Dutch. Dutch, I speak Frisian.
Frisian.
And Frisian and English is actually closer together than Dutch and English.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
And
So-
please tell us your whole name so I'll remember it next time.
My name is, is this, yeah? Should I move back? Okay. It's Marta Atema.
Martha Atema.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, welcome, Martha. Good to
Thank
see you.
you.
Yeah, you can lean in like even that close.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't like those things. I don't like those things. So now, after all this beautiful English, you're going to have to listen to a Dutch accent. Last time, a month ago, I started reading to you from my memoir, and I started with my mother's death. I didn't get the whole thing done, which I will never do again because I stopped halfway. And now, as I was preparing for tonight, I thought, this is silly. Next time I need to do a whole segment. I cannot split it up because now I have to explain to you that my mother was in the hospital in the Netherlands and I was here. And I traveled to the Netherlands when she had her third heart attack. And she wanted to die after that. She had written on a piece of paper that she needed help to die if she started to suffer. And she was now at a stage where she was suffering. And so in 2007, when this happened, euthanasia was already legal in the Netherlands. So I was glad about that she had made that decision. She wanted to die on her own terms. But there was a big hindrance when she got to, or an obstacle when she got to the hospital. The cardiologist did not want to help her. And so I left you the last time with, when she showed the cardiologist the note that she had written, and he said, it's not valid. You need a letter from your lawyer. I'm not allowed to give you anything to end your life. But I signed that paper, Mem adds in a forceful voice. He shakes his head and leaves the room, followed by the nurse. After the door closes, we stare at each other. Mem looks beaten. Her breath gurgles, and I wish I could breathe for her. And that's how I ended last month. Mem means mum, and Beppe means grandmother. So those are two Frisian words that you're going to learn tonight. Mem and Beppe. And then she wanted to eat a special delicacy that we always loved when we lived in the Netherlands. They're called kroketten. They're a mixture of vegetables and meat, and then breaded and then deep fried. It's, of course, really good for you. So when I come to that word, then you know that that's what it is. So now I'm going to continue to today's segment. There has to be a solution. I try to comfort her. I cannot believe it. This is the country where euthanasia is legal. In the afternoon, and my father and both brothers come for a visit. They're stunned and surprised when they hear about the doctor's decision. I will call the family doctor to find out what our next step is, my brother says, and we all agree and hope the doctor will have a solution. Can you get me some kroketten? Mem asks as soon as the visitors have left. They won't upset my stomach. At the hospital's cafeteria, all the meals are homemade, and the menu for staff and patients varies every day. I buy her 2 croquettes and watch her eat them with pleasure. Maybe these greasy, deep-fried things will kill me, she says between bites. I have to smile. She's so determined to die. Later, we reminisce about her visits to Canada. I always loved traveling, she says. Remember the first time I came? Oh, yes, I remember. The children all wanted to sleep with you, and they had to draw straws to see who was going to be first. But after one night, they all had enough of Beppa's snoring. We both remember. The next morning, Mem is not feeling well. She had a restless night, the nurse tells me. I asked the nurse which options we have so that Mem's last wish can be fulfilled. Well, the cardiologist will never give permission to perform doctor-assisted death because of his religious beliefs, he says. Can my family doctor give me the drugs? Mem asks. Only when you go home, the nurse says. He is not allowed to administer the drugs in a hospital setting. I'm not going home. I'm very comfortable in this room. Mem turns away from us, and I follow the nurse into the hall. There's one more thing, she looks at me. And even though she has stopped taking the heart medication, these drugs can keep her alive for another 2 weeks, and she can't stay that long. I panic, but she doesn't want to go home. I'll give you the names of 2 hospices. She leaves and returns a few minutes later with names and phone numbers. I won't tell Mem, and I hope my brother will have some better news. Unfortunately, the information from the family doctor doesn't give us much hope either. To request assisted dying, a review and assessment has to be approved by an independent doctor, my brother reads from his notes. Mem also has to be fully aware of her condition and her options. I know my condition, she interrupts. I know how I'm going to die. I will drown in the fluid in my lungs, and this is not the end I want to experience. The prospect of Mem drowning fills me with horror, and I can only hope she will go soon. You have to have this procedure done voluntarily and not under the influence of drugs, psychological illness, or pressure from family members, my brother continues. Death must be carried out in a medically appropriate fashion by the doctor, and he must be present. How will we find an independent doctor? Mem asks. I'll inquire about that, my brother says. No one talks as we all try to think of a solution, and for the next few days, Mem seems defeated. On Thursday afternoon, Romke, Lachlan, and baby Klazina say their final goodbyes before they return to Ohio. Overcome by grief, Romke is unable to express her feelings. I feel heartbroken as I watch my oldest, named after my mother, deal with this loss. But we have many, many memories. I try to comfort her in a final hug. Baby Klazina waves frantically, which makes us all smile. That night, our other children from Canada call the hospital, and the conversations are emotional and take a toll on Mem, and later, she's unable to eat. Remember the time you had to bring a suitcase full of inner tubes for our Dutch bikes? I tried to distract her thoughts. And do you remember when I biked down Lakeshore Drive and my pants got caught? I smile. I yelled, help, help, and this nice man came running and caught me in his arms. She chuckles. In the next days, friends and neighbors visit. The cardiologist does his rounds every day, but Mem doesn't look at him anymore. Without her knowing, Albert and I visit the 2 hospices, but both have waiting lists. The hospital is going to discharge her soon, the nurse tells me. We feel desperate, but other than going back home, we have no solution. One afternoon, Mem calls me. I assumed she was sleeping. Jan is standing at the foot of the bed, she says, looking past me. He's wearing his brown suit, the one I kept for a long time after he had passed. Do you think he's waiting for me? Will he recognize me? He's 26 and I'm 88. I'm speechless. I don't know how to respond. My brain frantically tries to think of what to say. Mem always told us not to expect anything after death. There's no heaven and no afterlife, she had told us on numerous occasions. And now she hoped she would meet her first husband in her next life. I take a deep breath. He will recognize you, Mem, I whisper. He will see you as the 26-year-old. To him, you have not aged. I can't believe I'm saying this. Where did these words come from? But from her facial expression, I can tell she accepts my comments, or maybe this is what she wants to believe. On Thursday, November 15, the cardiologist is accompanied by an internist, the head nurse, and a second nurse. How are you? He asks Mem. You know how I am, she snaps. I've been asking you every day to take me away from here. Her voice is clear for everyone to hear. Where do you want to go? He asks. Mem looks at him directly. I don't want to interfere, but my anger towards this doctor has been building, and suddenly I blurt out, for the last 10 days, my mother has asked you to help her. You know where she wants to go, so please, don't let her suffer any longer. Without a word, the doctor leaves the room, followed by his entourage. Did I make it worse? Half an hour later, the nurse enters, a big smile on her face. I don't understand. You got your wish, Frau Hochterp? She pats Mem's head. The cardiologist has called your family doctor. He has signed the papers for you to end your life. To avoid euthanasia, he will not perform the procedure, but has found a way around it. Instead, we will let you sleep in by administering a sleeping drug intravenously. We're all stunned. All I can think is, was this procedure not possible a week ago? I watch Mem's face light up. Thank you, she says. And when can we do this? Today, the nurse answers. I have to warn you, it can take up to 24 hours before you're gone. Will she suffer? I ask. The nurse shakes her head. The drug is administered in 4 stages. First, you'll feel relaxed. Next, you will be in a light sleep. And in the 3rd phase, your sleep becomes deeper. And in the last stage, you will sink deeper and deeper until you're gone. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Mem's face seems younger, relaxed. I'll call the family, I say. At 3:30, we are gathered around her. The nurse dispenses the intravenous and shows us the monitor that tells us the dosage of the drug she is administering. I'll increase the drug every 2 hours, she tells us. We say our official goodbyes, and I feel relief and sadness. For the next 2 hours, Mem is relaxed, talkative, making jokes. Her breathing comes easier, and she starts a conversation with the nurse about last names and finds out that they are related several generations ago. At 10, Mem has entered in a deep sleep. She won't wake up anymore, the nurse says. I suggest you all go home and get some sleep. Her heart is still strong. She will still be here tomorrow. My family leaves, but Albert and I sit with her for another hour, and the features in Mem's face are slowly changing. Her heart beats, but she isn't with us anymore, I whisper. We both kiss her. Rest, Mem. Go in peace. I can't sleep that night. In my mind, I'm sitting beside her, holding her hand, an image that will stay with me. Early the next morning, as we're getting into the car to drive to the hospital, the phone rings, and it is the nurse. Her heart just stopped beating. I had wanted to be there when she took her last breath, and I feel upset. But I was there when she was still with us, which gives me comfort. I could have been in Canada and missed out on the last 2 weeks of her life. We see Mem before they take her away. Her face is relaxed. Her battle is over. I'm at peace. It is a beautiful way to go. Next time I come with a shorter piece.
Well, yesterday was a bit of a crapshoot, so maybe I'll give you the last 2 paragraphs. See what kind of a note we end on, because I don't know what happens really. That evening, the swarm of helicopters that came buzzing across the Hog's Back was a dark cloud 10 kilometers long. The description of the last night's orgy of atonement had been in all the papers. Savage, called the first arrivals as they alighted from their machine. Mr. Savage! There was no answer. The door of the lighthouse was ajar. They pushed it open and walked into a shuttered twilight. Through an archway on the further side of the room, they could see the bottom of the staircase that led up to the higher floors. Just under the crown of the arch dangled a pair of feet. Mr. Savage! Slowly, very slowly, like 2 unhurried compass needles, the feet turned towards the right, north, northeast, east, southeast, south, south-southwest, then paused, and after a few seconds turned as unhurriedly back towards the left, south, southwest, south, southeast, east. Well, all right then. But that description was very compelling of the 4 stages, wasn't it? It's like, oh, why couldn't we all have that? Like in a chosen moment. Thank you all so much for your contributions tonight. And we hope to see you, what month is it? May. Yes, we'll do it in May as well. And sometime at the end of May. Byron, do you have a question? No. Darn. Okay. Good night. Thanks very much. Thanks, John. And hope you got that tire changed without incident. Wait, is there someone else sitting there I missed? Who is? I didn't see you. Who is it? I can't really see you. Are Murray. Hi, Murray. Sorry that I missed you. I didn't see you come in. Would you like to read something?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. What's that? You're very welcome. Thank you, everybody. And Jared, thank you for doing that. And sorry I missed you playing, though, but I hope to see you soon. Take care of yourself. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.